Hey, I get it when you're scrolling through 100 air compressors. The biggest question is, will this actually work for what I need, or am I just throwing money at a shiny tank? I've been there, standing in the garage with a tire that's stubbornly flat and a list of DIY projects that keep growing. Before you click Add to Cart, I want to walk you through the Campbell Hausfeld 30-gallon vertical air compressor, the kind of machine that can sit in a corner and keep your tools humming without you having to think about it. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, let's talk about the space issue. A lot of people assume the bigger the tank, the bigger the footprint, but this model flips that on its head. It's a vertical tank, which means it stands up like a tall column rather than sprawling across the floor. In my own shop, that saved me roughly a foot of floor space, enough to keep the workbench clear for a project that needs a little wiggle room. If you're working in a tight garage, a basement, or even a mobile workshop, that vertical design is a genuine win because you can tuck it against a wall and still have room for a workbench, a bike rack, or whatever else you keep nearby. Now, the real test for any compressor is how long it can keep the pressure up while you're actually using it. The 30-gallon tank gives you a decent reservoir of air, which translates into longer run times between refills. In practice, I've run this thing while inflating a set of 4 car tires, powering a nail gun for framing a small deck, and even cleaning dust out of a shop vac with an air blast attachment, all in one sitting without the motor cycling on and off every few seconds. That steady flow is courtesy of the 5.5 CFM at 90 PSI rating. It's not a monster-level output, but for most homeowner tasks, tires, small pneumatic tools, paint sprayers, it hits the sweet spot where you're not constantly hearing the compressor kick back into gear. One of the features that often gets glossed over is the dual voltage capability. This compressor can run on both standard 120-volt outlets and on 240-volt circuits if you have the hookup. In a typical residential garage, you'll only have 120-volt plugs, and that's fine. The unit will still deliver its full 135 PSI max pressure, just at a slightly lower flow rate. But if you've set up a dedicated 240-volt line, you unlock the higher flow without buying a separate, more expensive machine. It's a flexibility that saves you from having to upgrade your electrical work later, and it's something you rarely see in this price range. Who should consider this compressor? If you're a DIY enthusiast who tackles projects a few times a month, think inflating tires, using a staple gun, running a small spray gun, or powering a few air-driven hand tools, you'll find the 30-gallon capacity more than enough. The vertical design makes it easy to store. The dual voltage option means you won't outgrow it if you later add a 240-volt outlet, and the 135 PSI ceiling is sufficient for most consumer-grade pneumatic gear. It's also a solid pick for small business owners who need a reliable, low-maintenance source of air for things like upholstery work or light auto repair tasks. On the flip side, if your workshop revolves around heavy-duty framing, sandblasting, or running large industrial tools that demand a constant 150 psi or more, you'll feel the ceiling fast. The 135 psi max is respectable for home use, but it won't keep up with pro-grade equipment that needs higher pressure. Likewise, if you're looking for a whisper-quiet operation, you'll want to keep expectations in check. This compressor is built for performance, not stealth. The motor can get loud enough that you'll probably want ear protection if you're in the same room for extended periods. A practical weakness that shows up when you actually plug it in is the weight. The tank, filled with air, sits at a solid 150 pounds or so, which makes moving it a two-person job. If you ever need to relocate it, plan on a little muscle or a dolly. That's not a deal-breaker for a stationary garage setup, but it's something to be aware of if you intend to take it on job sites or store it in a tight trailer. Also, because the unit is vertical, the top of the tank can be a little higher than you'd like if you have low ceilings, so measure that clearance before you commit. All in all, the Campbell Hausfeld 30-gallon vertical compressor feels like a well-balanced middle ground. It's not a bargain basement unit that will quit after a few months, and it's not a high-end industrial beast that costs a small fortune. The 4.9-star rating from over 600 reviewers tells me most owners are happy with the trade-off between capacity, footprint, and flexibility. If you're looking for an air source that will let you finish a weekend project without a constant stop and go for refills, and you have the space.